What was once a shadow part of you is no longer a shadow. This eclipse energy has allowed you to have like a peekaboo behind the curtain around your own blind spots. And this can stir up a lot of emotions this weekend. And what I'm feeling for us to kind of sit with is the face to face with our shadow, my puppy, right? The face to face with the shadow. And what is that? What is the thing you've been refusing to see? And we know all the reasons as to why we refuse to not want to see something, right? But I encourage you with the energies that are coming up right now to allow yourself to see it from the bird's eye perspective. The bird's eye perspective, the higher perspective from the cosmos looking down, from the part of your spirit that is the all-knowing part of your spirit, right? That is the place where I invite you at this time to have that deeper conversation with yourself, because we are capable at this moment in time, every single one of us, if we try and put in the effort, we can get to a place of receiving some solutions, or just at least clarity around the shadow, right? And it goes tangent with this full moon, where there's no place where there's darkness, right? It's like it's completely at its max, which means that everything that has been hiding in the shadow, it is now in our faces in a way that is not just us playing from the perspective of the victim or the place of self of our pain. We can now look at it from a place of growth, maturing, wisdom, and things along those lines. Okay. So I would like you to ask yourself as we go along in this reading, what are, where have I been refusing to see? Where have I been refusing to see that if I saw will give me a sense of direction? Okay. So let's cleanse the energy and let's begin our reading. Let's see what the cards come up. But that was like what I received, just feeling my own self in this energy, and also just this whole eclipse full moon weekend, right? So let's see what the cards have to say. All right, let's see. There's a few cards. They all came like face down, as you can see here. So let's see. We have the Sun, Major Arcana. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. We have the Devil in reverse. I'll put that here. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And let's see what we have under the deck. Under the deck, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Look at that. It's like I've worked so hard on something and I'm waiting for the fruits of my labor to show up. It's like, when are you showing up? The Seven of Pentacles could be like, when are you showing up? Or it could also be like that moment of realization, like, you know, when you've been dating or talking to someone or even in friendship, where you realize they're just not going to get it. Right? Like they're not willing to, you told them, look, you're not seeing this correctly. You know, you're hurting yourself by having this, you know, by continuing on this way. And they're like, but no, this, but no, that, right? Like this, but no, but you know, it's just a feeling. And you're like, right? Like that's what that energy of the Seven of Pentacles is, right? Underneath everything, that's the sort of energy we're feeling. And this could be towards ourself, and also it could be towards others we've been trying to like bring them along with us, like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. But it's like you want it for them more than they want it for themselves. And there's something about that energy, and also you kind of being impatient with yourself. It's like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. Why aren't my muscles to the maximum, capacity or something? And it's like, it's only been 2 weeks. Right? Like, be more realistic around how much effort you've put and the outcome. Right? You just don't put in a little bit and a big thing pops out like that. Right? There is this like realization of that underneath everything. What's interesting is that as I look at this card, the Seven of Pentacles, there's five pentacles on one like plant, and then behind them there's another plant with two pentacles, right? So now all the planting or pentacles is coming from one place, right? And I think that there's a message there. It's like you might have had the habit, and this might be the shadow that's showing up, that's like only putting all your fruits in one basket, only working on one goal, right? Only fixating on one thing. And then you realize, actually, I think it works better when I have multiple opportunities available. I think I like having multiple friends versus just one friend, right? Like, there's something about that in the higher perspective view that is needed for you to turn around from being like, why aren't you here yet? Why aren't you here yet? And like she's in with her hands crossed, right? And her head is like tilted, like, when, right? And there's something about that, okay, underneath it all, that's sort of how you've been treating yourself. And in your healing journey, that sort of energy, whether it's coming from the outside or it's coming from the inside, and it's not a supportive energy. So it's healing because there's a timeline, there's a time limit to certain things, and like grief and deep sorrow and having to make really tough decisions are not something that the next day you can just bounce back, right? Like losing someone you love, finding out a devastating news about something. All of these things have their moment of allowing for the grief to happen. So there's like all this connection between the shadow that's showing itself right now to heal, is that perspective of being a little too hard on yourself, and also pretty hard on those really close to you, right? And so what I'm feeling here for us for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is to remember the sun, right? Because that was the first card that came up, right? And this sun, as you can see depicted here, there's a girl, a young girl, and she's on a white horse, and she's celebrating, right? She's in her innocence. There's something about, even though you are not the child, you won't be the child version of yourself, there is still a form of joy that as an adult you can be in. And this is about that kind of dance with it. And it seems like that has been a struggle, because it's like I'm either all giving, all naive, and drop all my knowing, all my confidence, all the learnings, or I'm so rigid on what I've been through that there is no space for anyone to be polite and stuff because everyone's out to get me, right? There's like this extremism, and what this sun card is kind of putting the light on everything, is like, hey, look, everything is on the table now. The stuff that looks really good, the stuff that's mediocre, and the things that we call caca energy, no good, blah blah blah, right? There is some stuff going on here too with like the two of cups in reverse, right? The two of cups in this reverse energy next to the sun, and then right after it is the devil in reverse. It doesn't feel like a negative. What it feels like is like you finally are learning around like the true balance of life for you, and the true balance of life for you, like when you get this realization and you put these things into place, like it's kind of humorous. It puts a smile on your face and you're like, wow, I really have been hard on myself, and I have been, I did go do this stuff, or like I've accomplished so much and I haven't given myself the applause for it. And the applause could be anything that you feel is gonna make you feel like you are seeing yourself, right? Like it's this knowing and detaching from always having to have something outside of you tell you what it is. And that was crazy. When I looked at the timer, it was 11:11 on the timer. So it's like it's about the self, but we have this idea of like the self being selfish. And there's something here where you realize, actually, I was led to believe that selfishness is really evil and really bad, but there's a need to be a balance with including myself. And in order to include myself, I have to have some moment of selfishness, sorry, where it's like, and it's a balance between selflessness and selfishness. It's like I'm learning this dance between the two. When is it appropriate that, okay, to compromise on certain things, but there's other things that are not really compromisable, right? And knowing the difference between that, right? And not, and releasing yourself from the chain, right? With the devil card, look at this. I want you to see this. I hope I'm doing a good job. Okay, so you see this, the two of cups in reverse, and then the devil. You see here in the two of cups, they're showing like you showing your own cup. And then in the devil, it's like chained up neck to neck, but the chains are loose. So the thing is, like, you may have thought that you've been being very open, very truthful, and then you see, oh, I see that actually what I've been doing is losing myself in projects, in people, in obligations of being a daughter, a son, a friend, a this, and not, I haven't been including my own self. And now I'm looking at things, the Seven of Pentacles, like you're looking at your own life, like, why haven't I gotten this far, or something like that, and you're not looking at what you have done. And it's like, if you keep looking from the lens of like more without having satisfaction or some sort of feeling of success, you're gonna keep reaching the things you kind of like been asking for, that now you have, and now that you have them, you're not grateful for them. So there's this need to balance the gratitude, and that's what you're seeing, the parts of yourself during this weekend. You're seeing the shadow of yourself, where it's like, oh, I see how that is actually not a very healthy behavior for me and for others. Okay, so as we go through that shadow, right, we then could flip things around. But you're kind of like sitting in this energy this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? This eclipse energy, full moon, where it's like it would be really important for you to be with yourself. And as I was going to say, that the four came out, the happy family, right? And it's like, for you to reach your happy family, right? To me, this happy family card gives me this energy, this Ten of Pentacles energy, or the Ten of Cups energy. right? It gives me that same remembrance of energy. And it's like the way that you are perceiving certain things were serving you well at some point, and now it's time to look at it from a higher perspective because you are now out of the situation, right? It's like you're seeing that you're out of certain situations, or you see your way out of certain situations, but you've been convincing yourself to continue, or that you still are in that, like you're behaving like you're still in that, right? Like, you know how you could be broken up for years, but you still carry yourself like you're in relationship. Sometimes that energy can send off the energy that you're not open for something to come in. Okay, so let's see any other supportive cards for this weekend. And it just feels really interesting. It doesn't feel, even though it might sound like it's a negative perspective, I don't feel that this is negative. I feel like this really opens up the possibility for you to see where in your life you've been bored as well, where in your life you feel like you've been settling way too much. And if you continue to go down that route, it distances you further and further from who you see yourself to be in the future, right? Like where you're really wanting to be, right? So there's something about that. Okay, anything else you would like to share with us for this weekend? We have the number 17, action, and the number 43, man holding a coin. All right, so excuse me. Hmm. This action card gives me this, we have a black and a white horse, and I feel like this is the sides of you, the shadow and the light dancing together, the parts of you that's like very optimistic, right? But sometimes is overly optimistic that is unrealistic. And then also the shadow part of you where it's like there are parts of you in the shadow that are like, oh, now I see that I won't be taken advantage of. But then then there could be the extreme of the shadow where it's like, then you're completely closed off and you're not allowing for possibilities and opportunities to reach you, right? But yet you're still like wanting certain things, but it's not matching. So here again, there is this dance happening with action. And I find it interesting that the word on the card is action, right? Because there is some need to move in the direction of your life with your spirit. So let's say you're like, oh yeah, I really love nature and I really love listening to waterfalls and bird watching and things like that, but you have not given it to yourself for months, maybe even years, then you actually don't love that thing, or that, not that you don't love it, right? I'm not trying to criticize. This is more like you're not prioritizing based on what it is you feel that is good for you. Does that make sense? There is this need to not be worrisome about certain things. And I understand some people have other limitations where it's like, I would love to be in nature, but I'm housebound, or I cannot walk, or right, like I that's not what we're discussing here. This is really talking about having the action with the connection, right? Like when you pray, are you just reciting prayers from a book? Or are you feeling your prayer? You're singing, you're feeling it with your body, you're harmonizing with the words, right? You're not saying, I love myself, but inside you, like, everything is like, I love myself, but there's just words. You're having an attitude towards yourself. You feel like, oh, this is just another thing I have to say. I love myself. Like, there has to be a matching. in all the stuff that you are saying you are wanting right now. And right now you're seeing the places that you've thought you've been matching your walk with your talk, and now you're seeing, actually, I don't think I've been so matching in this area, right? I've been saying, yeah, I want a new job, right? But I have not looked for a new job, right? I've been saying, oh, I want to move, but I haven't done anything along the lines of looking for a new place or saving money, whatever the thing is. It's just like a dream versus a hope, right? Like a hope is like, oh, I hope that it comes, and like, but there's no action behind it. But a dream is like, I really know I'm gonna go for that, and so you're willing to take some risk. You're willing to make some leaps of faith in yourself to move forward, right? So it's like you're taking some stuff. It's not to be naive, but it's to recognize that balance of like, well, if I want to win the lottery, I have to buy a ticket. I just can't say, let me win the lottery and never buy a ticket, right? Like you have to be in it, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, you're seeing, I have to actually be in it, right? So if I say that I'm very spiritual, then I have to be in my spirit. And what does it mean for me to be in my spirit? Not a show and a spectacle on social media, like, look at me and I have all this spiritual clothes. That's great because I also love my attires and I love all those things. But there's a dance between, this is a reflection of what I'm feeling inside. I'm wearing these colors and this flower here because there's a reflection of that within me that I'm showing outwardly. It's not that I'm putting this on to look spiritual. No, this is a part of my show, like my self feeling in my spirit. This is how I feel in my spirit. This colorful, this with the flower or whatever, right? And whatever it is for you, right? That is what we're like starting to see. What's the reason behind it? And is it authentic, right? The most healing thing that we can ever give ourselves, and the most harmonizing high frequency energy that we are, is when we are in our most authentic state. And our most authentic state is not the same as being perfect as everyone else. Our most authentic state is like, I am displaying exactly what is happening, right? It's not a facade. No, it is, I'm displaying exactly what's happening inside and letting it reflect outwardly, having as above, so below kind of thing, right? And living life from that sacred womb space as light as a feather, right? And allowing ourselves to kind of feel into that, right? Then we also have here the man holding the coin, number 43, right? And I like this coming after that because this is about, again, the coin is connected to pentacles, and pentacles are connected to like the physical, right? So like if this was a tarot deck, I would say this happy family card is giving me like a cups vibe, and this action card is giving me a vibe of like the wands or the fire, the spirit. And then this pentacle is giving me that, I mean, this coin is giving me that pentacle physical body, right? Like the tangible expression of things, the actual physicality. So take that in too, for those of you who know a little bit more about tarot, and you can incorporate your own message in what I'm saying as well, right? So this eclipse energy is quite one that can feel like we want to escape. So please try your best to avoid escapism during this time, because it's just gonna you're just gonna miss out on an opportunity of getting the answers to some of the questions you've had in your place of like your blind spots. So even though it may be uncomfortable at certain moments, there is relief at the end, because then it's like the awareness and the authenticity of it allows your body to and actually be like, I can let go of the weight of this burden. I can now focus my energy and time not just on surviving a certain thing, but I actually can be in my creative process, right? And where you're going and the direction that you're going in is being a creative expression of your authenticity. And so the stuff that are in the way of being in front of your authenticity, there's an opportunity to see those now, to see them as a mirror versus a brick wall where you cannot see through. But you gotta allow yourself to see past the illusion and see that, oh, it's not a brick wall, it's a mirror. And when I look deep within my eyes, when I look deep within myself, and I have the real questions and I ask myself, what is in my shadow? Why am I defending my shadow? Where did I inherit this belief? Right? Where did I learn this belief? What was the thing that brought me there and that I need to let go? Right? If you have tarot cards, you can ask these questions personally, pulling out your own tarot, right? This will be a great time, or energy cards, whatever it is that you have, to start like if you ask those questions, like you will be surprised around what are some of the things you find about yourself that you, with just little tweaks, you'll see that it's actually more fun. Things that seem tedious, you're actually like, wow, I'm really grateful for this because this opens up the door for this. And that opening of the door of this thing then lets me leap into another dimension of reality, of experience that I wouldn't be able to get to if I did not acknowledge this first piece. Right? So I find this really interesting. If you would like some additional support, you can book your complimentary awareness call with me and we can ask those questions together. You can book that on my site, soylamedicina.com. Information will be somewhere here. And yeah, like there's definitely a switch of perspective to occur. I'm going to pull out one more card here to see what else would you like to tell us for this weekend. That's way too many cards. Wow, it's like a lot wants to come out. I guess let's see. We have here cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze inward. Active earth, powerful places, landlines, trust where you're led. Wow. Oh, wait, there's another card. I didn't even feel that. Oh, that's so interesting. It was hiding behind cracked open is the cosmic heart, devotion. Make your life a moving prayer. So it's like with this cracked open energy, right? Like again, it's like the everything is seen, right? Like what you thought people didn't see, you're starting to see. And actually, people have been knowing this all along. They've just been pretending or whatever. Like in any area that you've been pretending that you don't see something, it's like something occurs where you cannot not see it, and it could bring up some emotions, but it feels like what is gonna help you through this crack open and then you get to see like deep inside yourself. It leads you to the cosmic heart, right? And in the cosmic heart is like this, you start to see how devoted you are to trueness, how devoted you are to your authenticity, and that along the way inside of you, the fight within the the one of the core or rooted places is you fighting for your autonomy and fighting and wanting to be respected and living from your autonomy and living from the sacred place of your heart. And what moves you there is not fighting. What moves you into that direction forward is actually making your life a moving prayer, where it's like you're standing in prayer, where it's like thanking the universe, thinking stuff all the time, right? It's like, oh, this is great, right? I get to do this. Instead of like, oh, I have to do this, it's like, I get to do this. I get to walk my dog. I get to have a dog. I get, right? And whatever it is, I'm just using that as an example, right? Because sometimes we start making things seem like chores when they're blessings. And we have to look at where that comes from. And there's like this labyrinth here with the card all paths lead home, right? All paths lead home, and it says inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze inward. And so, and this woman is walking a labyrinth. And so it's like, as you're walking in your walking prayer, and you bring your gaze inward and you allow yourself to also be in environments, because there's also like this activated earth where it's like talking about power lines and energetic grids. There are certain sacred places in the world that things that we know are very spiritual occur there, right? And you may have been wanting to go do something like that, but you've given thousands of excuses, and some of that might be financial, scheduling, things like that. And now it's saying it's time for you to start putting it into your schedule, right? If you are desiring to take a spiritual trip to Europe or wherever it is that you feel, that you start seeing yourself being there, and that you start matching your actions with the such thing, right? Where you open up yourself to the possibilities of certain things coming in, right? Like, I just came back from Borinquen, Puerto Rico, my land, and I was not really anticipating on going there, but an opportunity presented itself to me. And in the moment, if I would have just looked at my current situation, I would have been like, no, because I have a dog and my car and this and that and money and whatever other stuff. I would have talked myself out of going. But what it was instead was, okay, I feel a yes. This is a place I want to go right now. I have the opportunity to do so, and there's certain things that I need to arrange, right? So I needed to arrange care for my dog. I needed to arrange my car. I needed to arrange whatever other stuff I needed to do. Whatever it is, see that it is possible. It just may be that there are certain things you need to plan ahead of time. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of planning or that sort of dedication, because it is connected to your authenticity. And not everything can be done unplanned. There are certain things that need growth and attention, right? Just like when we were in the creation of the wound of our mothers, it wasn't that our mother just wanted us and pop, here we are. No, there was a process that had to happen for us to be a being, to come into this world. And there was what we consider the 9-month process, give or take, right? So there's something about seeing that, and other things in your life, not just the things outside of you, but also the things that you are wanting to create. You want to create an art school, art gallery, this and that. You want to have your album out. There's certain things you're going to have to do. And some of it is going to feel so yummy, and other parts of it is going to feel like a repeatable thing, right? Like, I enjoy being here, but do I want to be editing videos and uploading? No, I wish it could just all do that part all on its own. I could just do this part and that's it. But I take it all in together, and now I make it fun instead of it feeling like, oh, I have to get this done. I'm like, oh, what little app thing can I play with to figure out, a creative way of looking or whatever, right? Let yourself have fun with the process, right? Success comes from the joy, enjoying the journey. It's not just through the sweat and labor that we've been told to have in order to maybe someday have success, right? That has been something that has been sold to us, and a lot of us have fallen under, right? And now we're seeing, actually, no, that doesn't work. There's certain things I want to work towards, right? Like, I want to be a doctor in holistic medicine. Then you got to learn some holistic medicine information, right? You have to learn around the body. You have to learn about whatever your medicine is, whether it's using plants or food, nutrition, whether it's using tinctures, oils, whether it's using healing modalities, right? The list goes on and on. But there's a process for certain things where I feel like having a sort of love for it and respect for it allows it to feel more enjoyable, which then allows you to want to step into it more, right? And so that it doesn't feel like you're sitting here like that Seven of Pentacles with your hands crossed. Like, when are you coming? When are you showing up? When, like, it's like a frustrated, disappointed feeling. And that's something that we need to, like, uprise and get out of you. The things that make you feel disappointed and like, oh, when there's something to look at and move away from, reframe, right? There's a few things, right? And it's not about the other, like, oh, they only, if they would do this, then I'll be, no, that gets us in trouble. And it's just not real, and it doesn't, it's giving away our responsibility to someone else, our joy to someone else. And when someone has that sort of control over you, you're always going to feel lost and not knowing yourself. And this is a journey of knowing yourself and recognizing and remembering que tú eres la medicina, that you are the medicine, right? Your healing comes from you and the communion you have with yourself and the things around you, right? And using all of it to your best capacity, right? Not trying to do cutting corners, no, trying to, quick, fast, this stuff. That's not going to work. It won't be satisfying. It won't feel good. What will feel good is when you start creating that equilibrium with yourself and you start seeing things more clearly and acknowledge the shadow, the places you've been hurt. Acknowledge it and see that there's nothing to blame anymore. And that now it is your responsibility for your life to go in the direction that you want it to go into. You want a certain direction of life, a certain path, then there may be some adjustments you have to do to your current life to move in that direction. And feeling glad around that, feeling happy about that you have the opportunity to do so, right? All right, my friends, may this have touched your heart. I'm like, wow, I'm going to sit with this. And I have been sitting with energy all day, actually. around this eclipse and just the healing time that is right now, right? And really looking through the veil and, oh, okay, I didn't see that about myself. Let me take the note. Let me see what else comes from this. Where can I learn that? Where can I learn the next wisdom from here? What are my ancestors teaching me? What is the wise one within teaching? All right, my beautiful souls. Thank you for being here. Remember, you can book your 30-minute complimentary awareness call at my site, soylamedicina.com. Information will be here. And from my heart to yours, de mi corazón hasta la tuya. Ciao.